John chapter 6, verses 1 through 21. After this, Jesus crossed the Sea of Galilee to Tiberias. A huge crowd was following him because they saw the signs that he was performing by healing the sick. Jesus went up a mountain and sat down there with his disciples. Now the Passover, a Jewish festival, was near. So when Jesus looked up and noticed a huge crowd coming toward him, he asked Philip, "Where will we buy bread so that these people can eat?" He asked this to test him, for he himself knew what he was going to do. Why was he testing Philip? Because he wanted to see if Philip understood how God is their provider. Jesus knew that God was going to provide. Jesus knew that he was going to provide and that he was going to multiply bread. He knew exactly how everybody was going to eat. Philip answered him, 200 denarii worth of bread wouldn't be enough for each of them to have a little. What was Philip's reaction? To think how he himself could come up with enough to be able to feed these people. But that wasn't what Jesus was asking. Jesus was asking, where are we going to get the bread to feed all these people? The Lord is our provider. Nothing that we get, nothing that we earn, nothing is of ourselves, but the Lord gives us seasons of abundance and seasons of little. In whatever season we are in, we are to be content with what we have, because sometimes he'll give us a lot in order to use it for his glory, and sometimes he'll give us a little in order to build us up more. Philip answered him, 200 denarii worth of bread wouldn't be enough for each of them to have a little. One of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, said to him, "There's a boy here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 fish, but what are they for so many?" Jesus said, "Have the people sit down." What's God saying? Bring what you do have. Don't worry about what you don't have. Don't worry about how you're going to do it. Bring what you do have and leave the rest in God's hands. Jesus said, "Have the people sit down." There was plenty of grass in that place, so they sat down. The men numbered about 5,000. Then Jesus took the loaves, and after giving thanks, he distributed them to those who were seated. So also with the fish, as much as they wanted. Sorry. When they were full, he told his disciples, "Collect the leftovers so that nothing is wasted." So they collected them and filled 12 baskets with the pieces from the 5 barley loaves that were left over by those who had eaten. When the people saw the signs he had done, they said, "This truly is the prophet who is to come into the world." Therefore, when Jesus realized that they were about to come and take him by force to make him king, he withdrew again to the mountain by himself. When evening came, his disciples went down to the sea, got into a boat, and started across the sea to Capernaum. Darkness had already set in, but Jesus had not yet come to them. A high wind arose, and the sea began to churn. After they had rowed about 3 or 4 miles, they saw Jesus walking on the sea. He was coming near the boat, and they were afraid. But he said to them, "It is I. Don't be afraid." Then they were willing to take him on board, and at once the boat was at the shore where they were heading.